This week, we're talking about those kind of movies. They may not be worthy of an Oscar, but they're worthy of your attention. You just want to check your brain at the door, crash on the couch, and laugh your butt off, or scream, yell, cheer, or just have a grand old time. They're the tent poles, usually of the summer season. They're the popcorn movies, and they're next on FC3's Monkey Business.
From Rochester, home of the fewest sick people in America, the sun, wow is it hot, and a mail thief. Where are my Amazon boxes? Someone took them. I want to know. It's FC3's Monkey Business, your one-stop shop for everything geeky, starring me, Billy Vittori, Tanya Metris, our president and chief, Dan Carmen, and our host, Chris Frank. Now, in Phase 4. Hi, Chris.
Hey, Billy. So somebody's ganking your Amazon?
There's a couple things that I've been waiting for, and I thought last night, well, actually it was about 2 in the morning, where I go, I wonder where my Amazon boxes are, and I checked, and they were delivered Monday, and
Interesting.
I don't know where they are. And Susan thinks maybe she brought them in and misplaced them, but I don't think so.
Do you have like a side door as well as a front and a back door?
We have a front, a back, and a side, but the side doesn't have like a storm door of any sort. It's just
because here's what happened to us a couple weeks back is Jules and I were both expecting packages at roughly the same time, and then they were listed as delivered, but we're like, where the hell are they? We never thought to look at the side door of the house because it's kind of out of the way, comparatively speaking. And a couple of weeks later, after we had filed reports and we're like, look, we didn't get our stuff, we were insistent because it was not the front door, not the back door. Her boyfriend checks out the middle. He's going out the middle door because he's pulling something out of the basement for me. And sure enough, there's all of our freaking packages wedged in the screen door and the main the side door. We're like, okay.
Now, once I thought about it last night, I got obsessed and walked out to every door around the house and figured, what was it, Wednesday when we had the hurricane rainstorm, so they would have sucked anyway, but I didn't find them.
Now, do you get an email saying that your package has been delivered with a picture? Because the last couple things that I've gotten delivered, like I had a package delivered on Thursday night at 8:18, because that's the Squire, our friend Squire, had just walked into the house, and I had just gotten an email from the Amazon thing saying that my package had been delivered, and I got a picture of where exactly it was.
See, I think that because these were both from third-party sellers, and they probably just sent them via UPS or FedEx or whatever.
Oh, okay. Because I don't know, because anything that I've ordered from Amazon, whether it's a third party or not, I've gotten pictures.
This is the first time this has happened, and there's nothing on. I don't think I got an email. I didn't see one, and on the Amazon account thing, I don't believe there's a picture. I looked and didn't see
any, I get mine in my email.
I've never gotten pictures. I used to get texts whenever it was delivered. I don't get those anymore. I don't get anything anymore.
No,
Amazon's been a bit weird lately. I mean, I have Prime, so I get the 2-day delivery, and 2-day delivery these days means somewhere anywhere from 5 to 9 days. I've noticed.
It depends on the product, yeah.
And it's first world problems. I'm not really complaining too much. At least I've been getting my stuff, aside from that anecdote at the top of the discussion. But I got to imagine that they are just as affected as everybody else by all the screwiness that's been going on.
The funny thing is, was it late last week? I bought something off of eBay from Jane Silent Bob's Secret Stash from their eBay page. They had a book I've been looking for forever. Oh, good. I get to get my book and support Kevin Smith's comic book shop.
There you go.
And I had it via FedEx within 2 days. I wasn't expecting it for like a week and it was packaged better than I've ever had anything packaged. So,
if I go to my Amazon app, I can see my packages. I never did that before. If I go in my orders and I track my package, it shows pictures of them.
Yeah, I just went and pulled up my email. I still have my email from Thursday night, and it has a nice picture of the box sitting on my front step and on the ramp. I see the green chair with the pillows that is outside that ramp. So
No, I
I'll
don't
have
get
to look
emails,
again.
but I can see it in the app when I track my package. Nice.
Everyone learned something new today.
I just want to interject in this Amazon conversation real quick. It is 9:45 in the morning on a lovely Sunday, and my daughter is not only out of bed, she's dressed and she's ready to actually do something like a planned event.
Is she okay?
And
Yeah.
I wants to know if you're okay.
Feel her forehead. Is she running a fever?
She's laughing at me right now. She's like, "Why are you bringing attention to this?"
It's supposed to be 100
Because-
degrees today. She going to walk on 490 and protest or something?
No, she's not going to walk on 490. She's getting together with some friends that she hasn't seen in a while. I love you, Pippin.
We love you.
I love you too. Yeah.
She's like, stop, Dad.
Yeah, and she immediately hid back in her room. That was that.
She's like, about face.
Yeah. See, I keep reminding her that part of the perks of being a father is the fact that I get to embarrass my children for a long, long time to come. And she's like, well, one of these days we're going to, you're going to pass away and we're going to be, it's going to be peaceful after that. I said, oh no, I'll leave Easter eggs. I'm going to leave time bombs. I'm going to have a lawyer bring you a package like 5 years after I'm gone. It's going to be me doing TikTok video.
Now, Christopher, they can pick your nursing home.
Yeah, they can have some, they can try.
Depends how well planned you are. You got to plan it all out ahead of time.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
Definitely plan it out now.
Yeah.
Just in case. If this happens, do this.
Right. So, but it's fun. Like, she's her first day of middle school back when her very first day at Aquinas in seventh grade, several years ago now. And I'm driving her to school, and because I'm showing her where everything is and whatnot, at being alumni of the same building. And as we're pulling into the parking lot, she says something to the effect of now, Dad, I just don't be that guy, right? Can I just get out of the car and go to school? I'm like, yeah, no problem. No, honey. No, I wouldn't do that to you. No, I don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's AQ's serious business. You want to take it seriously. So she gets out. She goes, I love you, Dad. I'm like, good luck, Pip. She gets out of the car. She starts moving, goes around the front of the car, starts heading to the door. And I immediately roll down the window. Bye, baby. I'm so proud of you. Oh, you can see her head was like up above her shoulder, and then suddenly it sank down below her shoulders.
She had to have known that was going to happen. I mean, come on.
Oh, I know. In her heart of hearts, she knows who her father is. And I keep telling her, I said, if you had anybody else for a dad, you'd be bored off your ass.
Oh, jeez.
Anyway, so that's that. How's everybody's week been? This has been a weird week. I mean, it's been hot, that's for sure. But
You
not
have had
as
a
good
hell of a week.
I don't want to talk about my week.
I'm hoping that this upcoming week is a little better for you.
No, karma doesn't balance for me like that. But my car died Tuesday. My first day back to work after a 12, 13-day vacation. I get to work and my car dies like within a half an hour. And so I get it towed to, it looks like the alternator again. Okay, great. It happened. I have it towed to the garage that replaced the alternator about a year and a half ago. And the guy even recognized me. He's like, you're back? Tell me it's not the alternator. I'm like, really? That was like a year and a half ago. And you remember that? I'm like, no, that's quality service right there for starters. And that shows
they love their cars. If they're working in the garage, they love their cars. So,
that's true.
Yeah. And the tall people that come in.
Yes. I'm noticeable, I suppose. But I found out over the course, because I still don't have the car back. It's still in the garage almost a week later at this point, because what happened is they fixed the radiator, or they fixed the alternator, they replaced it. They found out it was an oil leak. One of the big valves was leaking and the oil got into the alternator died. Okay, get it. So then they have to turn around and fix the valve, or else they didn't automatically do it, but they're like, look, this is going to happen again. Oil will leak into the alternator. It will blow again, probably within 6 to 12 months. I'm like, oh, Jesus, fix the valve. Well, the alternator was $500. The valve was another $400 on top of that. And then they got everything all fixed up. Thursday afternoon, I get the call. Well, there's still something wrong. It's not keeping a charge. It's not moving. I'm like, okay, what happened? He goes, well, when the alternator blew, it took this fuse box that's on the throttle body. And I'm like, okay. And he goes, well, we don't have access to the part. It's not a common one. And we having it shipped in from Pennsylvania. And I'm like, okay. He goes, well, hopefully it'll be done Friday afternoon. All right, great. How much is that going to run me? He goes, don't worry about it. He goes, you've been through some shit with this car already. We'll take care of it from here. And I'm like, you're awesome. And So I was very appreciative.
Okay.
These guys have been amazing. I mean, any problem I have with this entire situation does not involve the Sunoco on Ridgeway and Long Pond, and that's a free plug because they've just been badass. They've been taking care of things, and they've been very upfront about everything. It's just the situation and this cursed car. So
The car from hell.
So Christine. So get this. Oh yeah, there's a Christine story there. Anyway, so get this. By 3:00 Friday afternoon, I have not received a phone call from the garage saying the car is ready because the part was supposed to have arrived Friday morning. They had overnighted it just to make sure that things were going quickly. So I give it in and I call, and he's like, "Yeah, the guy never showed up." Okay. The driver apparently went in the wrong direction. Instead of a delivery to Rochester, he decided that the delivery was somewhere in North Carolina.
Oops.
What?
Okay. And I'm like, and he goes, well, it's been corrected and he's on his way back up, or the item is being shipped on its way up to, we should get it probably over the weekend. I'm like, you guys don't work on the weekend, do you? He's like, no. And I'm like, okay. So yeah, and for this entire week, my daughter, God bless her, she's allowed me to use her car, but her car has problems of its own. It's this 2002 Buick, right? But her driver's seat is jammed in its current position. Now I'm 6'5", but my daughter is 5'3". So imagine having to climb into this like mercury capsule every time I get out of the car. Oh, it's been a tough week. So. I mean, again, first world problems overall, but holy crap, what a week! So,
that car is, it's gotten some amazing problems there. I've said.
I have done the math. I have now spent as much in maintenance and repairs on the vehicle as I did purchasing it.
Yeah.
All right. And then the inevitable question arises. People are like, well, why don't you just replace the car? When you're living paycheck to paycheck, that's not a possibility. Right? Because can I first, every time I have surplus money that I could just knock off on a Craigslist special, okay, something else happens and I have to spend that money elsewhere. I'm dollar for dollar, right? So another monthly payment of $150, $200 a month for a cheap used car, I can't afford that. I can't do that, So it's like, oh no, I'm stuck here for a little while longer yet. It happens. Oh well. It's just that you gotta look in the grand scheme of things. Oh well, and there's a comet passing by our planet right now that stops by every 6,800 years. Do you think it gives a rat's ass about my Murano? No, it doesn't. So that's the perspective of it. It's just going about its path. It's doing its thing, and it's just it's an inconvenience, but you move on. So tough week, but hopefully next week will balance it out a little bit.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
In a good way.
I'm amazed at how these opening segments have become kind of a therapy session for me over the past few episodes. Does anybody else notice that, or is that just me?
You've needed it. You've definitely
seriously
needed
talking to you, my friends and family, and the people who are listening, and also friends and family. It's just that's how I get it out. So I appreciate everybody putting up with me over the past few episodes. So I actually did get some feedback over the situation that I talked about a couple of weeks ago, where that lady came after me over the transgender conversation. I did get a couple of private messages.
20-minute therapy session?
Yeah, I did get a couple private messages on Facebook, and mostly complimentary, mostly like, yeah, we get it, we understand. And one guy was like, look, I don't agree with some of the things you said, but I understand that you're trying. He goes, so I respect that you want to get it, but obviously you're not where I would like you to be, and you're probably not going to be where I like you to be, but you at least want to be. He goes, so that's kind of cool. I'll go with that. I'm like, hey, that's all. If you can recognize that I want to be an ally, I want to be part of the solution, and I'm trying. I'm not always going to get it right, but I'm going to try. Then
we're never going to be. You can never be where somebody else wants you to be.
Exactly.
In any situation.
That's why
in any situation in life, But you have, yeah. I mean, the fact that you're trying and
that should count for something in somebody's book.
It should count for most things because again, you can never live in somebody else's shoes.
Mm-hmm.
You never know
Those
what
are too small.
that's a big problem. That's actually a small problem. I'm sorry. You can never know what they've gone through in life. You can never know, but you can, try to listen. You can try to understand, and that should be all that anybody ever expects of anybody else.
Yep.
Is you're trying to listen, trying to understand. You're never going to be on the exact same page as anybody else.
And that's why he's the president and I'm not.
Yeah.
I wish Dan was the president.
That's it. Because
Hey, Billy.
Yes.
You're so far away, I can't hear you very well.
Really? I got the microphone right up to my face.
Yeah, you are very quiet today, Billy.
Oh. Let me see. I wonder if there's something in my microphone setting that...
I don't know. I thought it was just me.
Did that help? I plugged it in more. No?
it's a little better, but you are a little soft today.
Oh, let me... I don't know yet, but I'll try and...
That's getting a little better.
Yeah.
Is this better?
Yeah.
No? Yes? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay. Well, I'll try and talk louder and see if I can find something while you guys are talking.
You are the engineer, man. So if anybody can figure it out, you would definitely be able to pull it off.
I don't know about that.
Are you using earbuds?
Yes.
Okay. Maybe your little button on the microphone. That's.
Oh, like do the earbuds have the wire?
Yeah.
Because sometimes they have like a volume control right on the.
Right on the earbuds.
No, that's it. The microphone is its own thing plugged into the side, and
gotcha. Makes sense.
I'll see what I can find though.
We'll wing it.
Okay, I'll try and not talk too much anyway.
Oh no! Nonsense. Although sooner or later we're gonna have to wind up all in the same room again because I think I miss you guys too much for that.
Yeah.
So. All right. So I tell you what. Let's take a couple second break or a couple minute break here, and Dan can throw something cool in the middle, and then when we come back,
grab a bucket of popcorn and
grab a quick bucket of popcorn, and let's talk about explosions and other neat stuff.
I know. I didn't get popcorn the other night.
Wow. Yeah, you're right. See, here's the thing: is you have a deep seated love of popcorn that I don't share. I mean, I'll eat it if it's there, but I don't go out of my way for it like you do. And so I wasn't thinking about it unless if you had said something, I would have been like, oh yeah, no problem. And then I would have been able to whip up something for you.
That's okay. I was still full from the Arby's and the French fries. So.
Yeah. So, but no, you gotta advocate for yourself. If you're missing something, you gotta say something. Cause I can't think of everything. I'm not that smart. So, all right. Anyway, break time.
To my little friend.
I will find you, and I will kill you.
Get to the chopper!
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Royale with cheese.
What's in the box? Are you not entertained?
Keep the change, you filthy animal.
Here's Johnny. Show me the money!
Get away from her, you bitch!
I'll be back.
Houston, we have a problem.
I'm walking here! I'm walking here! You can't handle the truth!
I am the father.
It's alive! It's alive!
Clever girl.
Wax on, wax off.
This is Sparta! Why so serious?
You're out of order! You're out of order! Swing! Swing!
Snakes. Why did it have to be snakes?
Bond. James Bond.
I see dead people.
They're here.
We are going to die!
Nobody puts baby in a corner.
Precious!
You're a wizard, Harry.
You shall not pass! Game over, man. It's game over.
Go ahead. Make my day.
I wish I knew how to quit you.
That's not a knife.
has a knife.
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
Never tell me the odds.
You lose! Good day, sir!
Good morning, Vietnam!
Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads.
You're only supposed to blow the bloody doors off.
Father to a murdered son, husband to a murdered wife, and I will have my vengeance.
Yo, Adrian! Adrian! You shall not pass!
I'm the king of the world!
He's looking at you, kid.
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take this anymore!
E.T. Phone home.
I drink your milkshake.
You are tearing me apart, Lisa!
To infinity and beyond!
Dodge this.
I am Iron Man.
I love you.
I know.
I swear to God.
Swear to me!
I'm too old for this shit.
I'm funny how? I mean, funny like I'm a clown. I amuse you.
I'm Mary Poppins, y'all! Yeah, baby! Yeah.
So fetch. What is fetch?
You shall not pass!
You make me want to be a better man.
No, you're not putting those in my butt.
Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming.
You complete me.
Stop trying to make fetch happen. It's not going to happen.
Life was like a box of chocolates.
All right,
never
so
know
we're
what you're
back,
gonna
and
get.
and as I said at the very top of the show during the little teaser thing, these might not be Oscar winners, and if they do, it's typically for visual effects, for some sort of special effects or stunt work or things like that. They're not necessarily going to be Oscar worthy for their story, and these are what have been affectionately called the popcorn movies, the movies where you check your brain at the door, grab a bag of popcorn, you get your seat, and you just enjoy the movie. Don't try to think too hard because you're only going to make yourself, more anxious. So movies, we're going to talk about a wide variety of them, and we may touch on the follow, but movies like Independence Day, right? Jurassic Park, the original. Rocky Horror Picture Show is a popcorn movie because, please, dear God, don't try to think too far into it. We're not talking about the bridges of Madison County. We're not talking about Gandhi. We're not going to be talking about, Schindler's List. We're going to be talking about things that have crashes, explosions, laughs, stupid humor, things that where you got random stuff blowing up when they shouldn't. People falling for your entertainment. The popcorn movie, and we've found lists, and we have our own lists. And Tanya and I the other night we watched Ready Player One, which we're going to talk about.
Excellent movie. Yes.
Oh, it was a fun
That's
movie.
so funny. I just started reading the book.
And I've been trying to get started on reading the book, but this week was very distracting, so I did not have the mental focus for it. But Anne and Tanya are going to be doing their first official book club in about a week or so, right? It's coming up in a week. And the first book you guys are covering is Ready Player One, which is why it was foremost on our mind. So
I'll have to check out the book club since I'm also reading the book.
There you go.
Yep. Nice.
I'll send you a Zoom link, Billy.
Excellent. Thank you.
Nice. When is the book club again? Remind me of that one, Ton.
Next Wednesday.
Okay. So 1 week from today, for the day that this is being released.
Mm-hmm. It's up. It's 29th.
Okay.
I think so. Yes, the 29th. Wednesday.
And you're going to be doing it via Zoom.
Correct.
Nice. That'll be fun. Well, I hope to have a chance to join you guys.
I'll send you the Zoom link also.
Wonderful.
Doesn't matter where you are. You can, in the book, you can still talk about it.
There you go. So when we talk about popcorn movies, Billy,
yes,
you're like our movie and music like encyclopedia.
I try.
And it's just and succeed. So when you hear popcorn movie, what's one of the first ones you think about?
The first ones I think about are Jurassic Park. You mentioned that. the July of '89 when Batman came out, nothing could
Oh,
have made me happier with
Yeah.
Michael Keaton.
What a pleasant surprise that movie was. People were like really nervous. I mean, Jack Nicholson being in it gave it a sense of legitimacy, but nobody had ever seen Michael Keaton really do something dramatic, or action. Who would think Michael Keaton is an action star?
Yeah, he was Mr. Mom up until
Exactly. And all the comedic performances he's done over the years. So that was like a huge kind of like, we're not sure what's going to happen here, but we all left the theater like, wow, that was amazing. So that's cool.
Another one that I immediately thought of, and you mentioned it on a social media post earlier this week, the greatest Christmas movie of all time, Die Hard.
Die Hard.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love Die Hard. I mean, there's a lot of people in it, but it's a two-man show with Alan Rickman and Bruce Willis.
Oh, it is.
No,
And
Reginald Van Johnson, or Van Johnson, whatever his name is, he's an excellent small part of it, but Bruce Willis and Alan Rickman as Hans Gruber just steal the show, and it's an amazing movie. And
my buddy Andy says all the time, it's not Christmas until you see Hans Gruber drop from the Nakatomi Plaza.
Exactly.
It's like, I would think I think it's almost should be like a New Year's movie in that regard, because the ball drops, Hans Gruber drops. It's the same thing, Just time it out so Hans drops from the Nakatomi Plaza just as the clock strikes midnight.
I'm sure there's someone that.
Tanya, can you check your breathing into your mic a lot?
I'm sorry, I'm breathing.
No, it's
really heavy breathing into the mic.
We're figuring out our tech today. Apparently, we were solving some problems, but finding new ones in the process.
It's really, really loud.
I do want to start investing in like the actual studio mics with the mesh covers and things like that.
Oh, I can't talk loud enough. Now I'm breathing too loud.
And you're talking too loud, but
yeah,
I'm trying not to.
You're breathing in my ear.
No.
Oh, you need to stop that for other reasons.
I'm sorry.
We're not talking about those kind of movies.
Yeah. No, sweet. Don't worry about it. We'll figure it all out as we go. And
but
we're just like I said, we're figuring. What's that?
I moved the microphone down, like underneath my chin.
There you
go.
Good.
That does sound a little bit better. Yeah.
Yes.
And I'll stop breathing.
No, don't do that. We like you better breathing. But Monkey Business, finding its way through the cacophony of technology every day.
It's an adventure.
It always is an adventure.
It's a popcorn podcast.
So, all right. So we were talking about Die Hard and Jurassic Park, and you did mention. Did you mention another movie? Batman. Tanya, what are some of them? I mean, when we found that one website, you said my favorite popcorn movie is the picture right in the middle of the collage.
Right in the middle.
Which one is that?
Top Gun.
Top Gun, because you feel the need for Tom Cruise and
and I'm not like I like Tom Cruise, but it's like I liked Iceman, Val Kilmer instead in that movie. The beach volleyball scene.
We all unfortunately have been denied the ability to see finally the sequel has been produced and was going to be released this summer. But then the pandemic had different ideas. So hopefully that comes to us in one way, shape, or form so we can see it soon.
Oh no, that's what's disappointing about this pandemic. It's like all the movies that were pushed back.
Right.
And pushed back and pushed back.
Yeah. Black Widow and all those stuff. I mean, that even reminds me. I mean, the Marvel movies are in essence popcorn movies, right?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, they landed on this list.
Would we consider Star Wars in that same vein?
Yes.
I think so, sure. It's basically an homage to the movies of the 30s and 40s, that
the
Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah. What are some other good series? Star Trek kind of goes between popcorn movie and thinky deep sci-fi movie, I've noticed. Yeah. Although the J.J. Verse movies are definitely popcorn films.
Yeah. Oh, I remember when the first one came out, Star Trek: The Motion Picture.
The motionless picture, as Wayne likes to say.
I was just about to say that one disappointed me. That was the Christmas of 78?
78, 79.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And it tried too hard to be a franchise version of 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Exactly.
You know,
it was long and it
arduous.
didn't have a good phaser fight or anything in it.
No, it didn't. I mean,
And not that the original TV show often did, but there was usually something in that hour.
I mean, they did launch a couple torpedoes, but that was about it.
Yeah. Or, Captain Kirk got in a fight with a Gorn or something.
Right. I see you got your shirt off.
Mm-hmm.
How about you, Daniel-san? What comes to mind when you hear popcorn movie?
I was looking just through the list just because I haven't really given it much thought. Like Galaxy Quest and the Wayne's World movies, and
Wayne's World, that's a great one.
Yeah, those are fun. You never look at Bohemian Rhapsody the same after that.
No, definitely not.
As a matter of fact, I think that's what made Mike Myers' cameo in Bohemian Rhapsody, the movie, that much more fun. Because at one point he goes, "You don't see anybody headbanging to this damn song," and it's funny that you have the guy who played Wayne headbanging to that very song. So
that's a funny little Easter egg I hadn't thought of.
Yep.
Yeah, I know. I didn't think about that either. The Back to the Future movies.
Okay. That's good. Okay, so other than just for lack of a better way of describing it, the mindless quality, Tanya, what makes a popcorn movie a popcorn movie? What is there a specific set of qualifications do you think it has to have?
It has to be a movie. I have to go to it, and I have to buy popcorn.
Okay. All right. So then by that, Schindler's List is a popcorn movie for you.
Okay, so if we're going back to this, if we do popcorn, if we were talking about popcorn movies, I did it as movies that it doesn't matter where it is in the movie. If you're flipping through the channels, you would stop and watch it.
Which I've often said about Fifth Element.
Right, and that doesn't matter. Like, you absolutely know where it is. The ones that you can watch over and over again, and you won't necessarily get tired of it. That type of stuff that you just watch it for entertainment value because it's fun for you.
See, and one thing, even though it can be, as you put it, brainless or just fun or whatever, there still has to be a level of quality to it. It can't be a piece of crap.
True.
Right.
Because, like Beverly Hills Ninja with Chris Farley, I walked out of it before I could eat my popcorn. So I think it still has to have a level of quality writing or acting or just generally good performances.
And I think it also has to have something that you enjoy part of it. Like yeah, I've seen Schindler's List, but I hear myself.
You hear yourself?
Yeah, there's a lot of echo feedback for me. But like Schindler's List is like a history type thing. That's not. I've seen it, but it's not like my style. So therefore, it wouldn't be one that I would go back and rewatch. But I will rewatch Armageddon. I will rewatch Independence Day. I will rewatch Raiders of the Lost Ark because they happen to be going through the. Tyler happened to be flipping through the channels yesterday to get to the Golf Channel, and I happened to be standing in the living room, and just a quick thing, I saw Raiders of the Lost Ark as one of the headings, and then he kept going, and I walked outside. I'm like, did I see Raiders of the Lost Ark? And then and 2 seconds later, I was had my feet in the pool, and then Tyler came out to the sunroom. He goes, "Yeah, Mom, it's on 241 or whatever." He's like, Raiders of the Lost Ark. Man, that would be one that I would go back and rewatch. As I said, like Armageddon is definitely one. Top Gun, Dirty Dancing, just because whatever. It's not. Grease is one I'll rewatch.
Grease is a great one.
Probably one of the ultimate classic.
That I'll just start singing along to. So I think part of the popcorn aspect of it is got to be something that you enjoy.
Okay.
Does it have to be a hit?
No, I don't think so.
I think it helps.
Yeah, I mean, it helps because it gives you a broader accessibility to other people who like it, I suppose, right? But I don't think it has to be a hit. It just has to be important to you. Really?
Because one I really enjoyed and just made me super happy, and I think it was sort of a hit, but people don't think about it, is Pacific Rim. If you got monsters fighting robots, that's a popcorn movie.
That's it. I mean, that's the perfect definition of it right there. You know, it's just the whole premise is giant robots beating on actual giant monsters. It's like a Godzilla fan's, best dream.
Now, I had asked my because knowing that this podcast was coming up, I asked my coworkers on Friday when we were waiting for students to jump onto our video. I said, if I said popcorn movie, one that you could watch over and over again, doesn't matter where it is, my one coworker immediately said Princess Bride.
Oh yeah, I was planning. I had that in the back of my mind. I wanted to bring that up. Which we've done podcasts, we've done movie nights, we've made references to it. Dan recently watched the quote unquote fan made version, shot for shot version,
the at home version, whatever.
Yeah, the at home version, which I've seen bits and pieces of, and what I've seen
pretty
is
cool.
pretty
it was just pretty amazing how they put it all together. The number of people that were involved in that was pretty incredible.
So he had that one. He had The Last Samurai.
Tom Cruise's Last Samurai?
Yes.
Yeah, that was a good movie. I remember that. A little bit, I don't know if I would call that pure popcorn because it had some drama aspects to it, some thinky philosophy parts to it, but there was some action going on in there.
Put it this way, he shows it in his global studies class every year. He shows parts of it.
It's got it has some cultural accuracy to it. I mean, it really did kind of go out of its way to try and show that ancient Japanese, or not ancient, but historical. Thank you. That was the word I'm looking for and couldn't find.
And his last one was Inception.
Ooh, Inception.
See, that one looks like it'll break. I've been afraid to watch that.
Yeah, Inception. Maybe
Brad Pitt, right?
Yeah, no, Brad Pitt. No, it's got Leonardo DiCaprio.
DiCaprio.
Yeah, DiCaprio. Ellen Page is in that one.
And there's Nolan, Christopher Nolan, right?
Christopher Nolan. Who was the guy who played Bane in the?
Oh, Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy. Thank you. I was having a hard time because I could see his face, but I couldn't see his name or couldn't hear his name in my head. He was in it. There was a bunch of really good character actors and leading actors in Inception. And Inception is a real mind job when you let it be. So I don't know how popcorn. I mean, if it's a popcorn movie, it's like on that. It's on that cusp of transforming into a more in-depth kind of movie that you would normally associate with, like Wayne's World and Porky's.
It's on your Cleveland.com list that
is
you're
it
looking
really?
at.
What number is it ranked at?
33.
Really? So it's up there in the rating. Interesting. I don't know if I would agree with that one personally, but that's me.
Yeah, I'm not sure I do either. And it's funny, the list I'm looking at, 26 and 27 are perfect, and I forgot about them. Number 27 on the list of 50 or whatever, Speed with Keanu Reeves and Sandra Bullock.
That's on this one.
Movie. That was so much fun. I enjoyed that so much.
Dennis Hopper was just great in that movie.
Yeah, but just if the bus goes under 55, everybody dies.
Yep.
That's all you need to know.
They jump the bus. When you have a stunt like that, you know that you're not going to be taking this movie seriously.
And number 26 on my list, Big. Which
That's
a
great movie.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun.
Amazing.
That's number 26 on this list too.
Dan and I went to see Big. I remember seeing Big in the theater with Dan.
Cleveland.com. It's funny you say that.
And then when we were leaving the theater, I remember Dan holding his hands up to his mouth, going, "How else would you eat those little tiny covered in the cobs? How else would you do that?"
That is my favorite scene for that movie.
I'm looking at that Cleveland list now. Number 75, Wanted, with Angelina Jolie in it, about the assassins. That's a thing. War of the Worlds, the Tom Cruise version.
That's a good movie.
Yeah,
that was a real good movie.
Oh, it looks like the Harry Potter series is on this. Yeah, that would make sense.
Oh yeah.
Up, great movie. Many of the Pixar movies. Yeah.
Hey guys, I'll be right back. I got to go get something for Susan. I'll be back in 30 seconds.
We'll vamp. I can vamp like a mother. It's all good, yo. Wall-E, great freaking movie. Wall-E's number 60 on that Cleveland list. Oh, I love that movie so much.
War Games. There you go.
Oh.
Would you like to play a game? Speaking of games, Dan, you're not off the hook. One of these days, I'm going to put that freaking D&D one shot together, and you're playing. Just saying that. He keeps hoping I forget.
Yeah,
I keep on forgetting. Let me put it that way.
Well, I'm not worried about you, and I know that that Jason Gwynn's very excited to be a part of it. It's just getting the other people who volunteered to play to like take it a little more seriously, so we can get everybody together and make it happen. It's like we'll figure it out one of these days.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry about
Hello, we missed you. There's something about Mary is at 54.
Oh, jeez. I forgot about that movie.
Uh-huh.
You know, they had The Mummy Returns on here, but I think The Mummy was...
Mummy is a great freaking movie. They should have stopped at The Mummy. The Mummy was just it was a perfect kind of serial quality action comedy movie, you know?
Hey, O'Connell!
I've got all the camels. Hey, Benny, you're on the wrong side of the river.
If that doesn't come up with a Monty Python quote in our gaming session at least once a week, it's not a gaming session.
Absolutely.
See, as I go through this list, wow, there's some good movies that I forgot about. The Fugitive.
Oh, I love. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was a great one. I didn't kill my wife. I don't care. Tommy Lee Jones was the only actor on the face of the planet who could deliver that line the way he did. I mean, that was perfect for him. It was a great movie.
Another Harrison Ford movie that is on this list, Air Force One.
Mm-hmm.
That was a good movie.
Plane. Oh, here's one for the girls, Magic Mike. That's number 44 on the list.
Can I tell you I haven't seen it?
I'm not surprised. Saving Private Ryan is on this list.
That seems a little too serious for.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't call that popcorn movie. That's not just. I mean, war movies can be, because a lot of war movies are rollicking adventure. Look at the heroes beat the Nazis kind of thing, right? I love my World War II, war movies. I grew up on them, watching the classics, watching John Wayne, watching Patton, watching all of these, great character actors from the 40s and 50s, coming out and doing their thing. Saving Private Ryan was hard. I mean, it was a very intense, very hard hitting, very emotional. You feel good at the end, but it's not kind of like, oh, I laughed and it's uplifting. There was a positivity to the message at the end, but it was a respectful one. It was salute the people who laid down their lives during the course of that conflict to make the world a better place. And it wasn't like, oh, that was awesome. Yeah. And how about when that guy died? How about when that guy? I didn't come away from Private Ryan like that one. It had some fun scenes, like Matt Damon, his famous improv telling the story about his brothers in this, having an intervention for the one brother who was apparently having a rendezvous with a girl who wasn't quite up to their approval. So that whole scene was improv by Matt Damon, and it's a funny story, and his laughing at it evokes a certain kind of emotion. But I don't know if I'd call Private Ryan a popcorn movie.
See, now that I don't see this one on my list, and I'm a little bit older than you guys, but I remember leaving the theater after Rocky 3, which, Rocky, the first Rocky is an Academy Award-winning movie. Rocky 3 had Mr. T as the bad guy. And it's so much, I really enjoyed it. I think I saw it 2 or 3 times at the theater, which maybe, like you said, repeatability is a factor when it comes to popcorn movies.
I have never seen Rockies 2, 3, or 5. I did not see any of those. I saw the first one, and then I saw the one with the Russian, with Dolph Lundgren's character. Okay. Because that's the great Cold War analogy. The scrappy American versus the forged in steel Russian. That classic trope of a story. I did see the first Creed movie, and I have not seen anything since.
The second Rocky 2 was a little slow for me. It was okay, but Rocky 3 is just a fun movie. And
is it?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Like I said, I saw it a bunch of times, and just saying it makes me want to see it again.
I'm going to have to sit down and watch that movie one of these days.
I don't expect a good movie, but
you don't.
I mean, it made Mr. T a star. So before that, he was he was a bouncer or something.
Well, wasn't he in 18 before Rocky?
No, 18 was after Rocky 3.
Really?
Yeah, Mr. T. That was the first thing people saw him in, was Rocky 3.
Oh, wow.
That's
amazing.
Aware of.
That's amazing. I thought
Almost
18 was out at the same time or just before, which is
No.
why
In
he
fact,
got
Rocky
Hulk
3 was
Hogan
1982.
Hulk Hogan has a small part in Rocky 3,
Mhm.
and that's how they met and wound up doing a wrestling thing together.
Oh yeah, because Rocky 3 is 82 and 18 was 83 to 87.
Interesting. That's interesting. That's see, I never put that together in my head. For some reason, Mr. T was just when he showed up in Rocky 3. I know I didn't see the movie, but I saw the trailers, I saw the advertising, and it just struck me that I knew this guy already. You know, it's just, I don't know. Maybe I saw him in something before. I don't remember.
There was a movie called DC Cab, which strangely enough was written and directed by Joel Schumacher. You know,
Mhm.
now known for the big action movie. Well, now known
Right.
for also having passed
And he's the one who
away.
just recently passed away, didn't he?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
But DC Cab is just a goofy comedy with
Mhm.
Mr. T and what Charlie Burnett. I forget who's in it now. It was
Adam
it was like
Baldwin.
thank you. It's a sort of a ensemble sitcom of a movie.
Gary Busey.
Yeah. And it's not good, but Mr. T
I remember watching that once.
Yeah. Adventures in Babysitting is another one not on the list that I've watched so many times. I'm embarrassed.
Is that Elizabeth Shue in that one?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's great. Nobody gets out of here without singing the blues.
Thank you. That's my favorite scene.
Oh my gosh. Oh yeah,
That was such a funny movie, and
It was.
it got remade in the last few years, didn't it?
Did it?
I think so. I haven't seen the remake. It may even be on Disney Plus. I think there's a remake of Adventures in Babysitting that may be out, but that's one I'd recommend. That's one people don't normally
a
hear
TV
of
movie,
that.
yeah.
Here's a franchise for you that lines right into the wheelhouse of this discussion. Are you ready?
Uh-huh.
Number 36 on the Cleveland list, The Fast and the Furious.
And have never seen one of them.
I've seen the first 6 because we somehow got our hands on them, and it was just when the 7th was about to come out, and so we did a Fast and the Furious marathon. And let me tell you, whoever they hired to be the continuity director for that series must have had an aneurysm, is all I can say. You know, must have just had, is probably in therapy on a lot of heavy medications because there's just no way to keep up with it. It's just, they don't care. And they unabashedly and shamelessly do not care about what happens from one movie to the next. Now, the later ones start having this kind of like an underlying story from what I'm told. I have not watched, I think it's like 8, 9, and 10 are out now. Is there a 10th?
Hobbs and Shaw is a spinoff.
Spinoff. That's the only one I've seen is Hobbs and Shaw.
Yeah. I think there's like an underlying arc in the later movies because they realized what they had at their disposal at that point. I think the
It
first
took them that long to figure out.
Well, I think at first they were just slapping together some really cool stunts and some consistent characters, but there really wasn't like a story that bound the characters together. It wasn't like Star Wars where Han, Luke, and Leia have this overwhelming thing that they're trying to tackle. It was these characters and how they kind of interwove between each, and that it was like loosely kind of dealt with. But then as it progresses and the franchise kicks in, they're like, oh, we better start telling a story just so we have a justification for all of these freaking. And the crazier the stunts get, the later the movies become. So
I think it makes it easier to not try and have an underlying thing. I mean, James Bond movies, just from Goldfinger to Live and Let Die to Octopussy to whatever. It's just
you want to talk a popcorn franchise. You just nailed just on that one.
Yeah. I don't need a running story, which I think may have been happening in the last bunch with Daniel Craig, but I don't think you need it.
I don't know if there was I mean, I haven't seen the last one. And I know there's one that's been delayed because of the virus, right? Mm-hmm. So there's going to be the last Daniel Craig one is coming out this fall. And then the one before it I have not seen yet. But the Daniel Craig ones I've seen so far, they have kind of had this underlying, it wasn't like an important part of the plot, but it's this subplot that kind of ties them all together. And I thought it was very clever and, spoiler alert. And hey, maybe a future podcast, we can talk about just James Bond, the franchise on the whole. But they turned it into just another Bond movie into this is Bond's origin story. If you notice it, like especially at Skyfall, when you have the changing of the M's, along towards the end of the story, so, and you see the more traditional M approach, where you have the different character, but the Office is more familiar to the Sean Connery and Roger Moore Bond movies, and Moneypenny is now introduced fully and things like that. So it's like, oh wait. Oh, okay, that's cool. So it's like, oh, that's interesting. So, but yeah, for the most part, it's just like here's the misadventure, here's the Bond girl, here's the villain, here are the cool gadgets, here's the snarky remarks from Q, and go.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a good time waiting to be had. And it's funny for me, it's how. And like I said, I think we should do a podcast about the Bond movie soon. But I'm gonna leave this particular section of the conversation with this. When I was young and Moonraker first came out, I thought it was the coolest thing ever because, of course, I'm into the space program. I have been since I was little. So there's space shuttles all over the place. There's space stations and there's people in space, and this is so cool. And
Moonraker
now
was awesome. It was one of my favorite. Yeah, it was at the time. It was one of my favorite. Yeah.
Yeah, and I look back at Moonraker now, and I'm like, oh my god, that was awful.
A lot of movies are like that, though.
Yeah,
they don't stand the test of time, especially when they try to get that kind of stuff. Yeah.
There's another podcast, movies that we loved when we first saw them, but nowadays we're like, wait, what were we thinking?
I remember the movie Raise the Titanic.
Oh my god, yes! With local boy Robert Forster was in that one.
It was based on a Clive Cussler book.
Uh-huh.
And then they found the Titanic, and that was
some assembly required.
And then they realized, that won't work.
Yep. But, yeah. Oh my god! Did I tell you I have a kind of a loose connection to Robert Forster?
No.
My mom dated him when they were in high school.
Wow.
Yeah, they dated very briefly for a few months here, and they just like between high school, college era at that time frame, they dated very briefly. She knew then he wanted to be an actor. He was studying for the stage, and he moved out of town, and they parted amicably, and that was that. And then my mom met my dad, and history was made at that point. But yeah, so it was funny because I brought it up one time. I'm like, oh yeah, this particular movie and this guy, and she's like, oh, I know Robert Forster, and I'm like, yeah, he's been in a lot of things. She goes, no, I know Robert Forster, and I'm like, okay. She goes, well, not that way. This was the 40s and 50s where people were a little bit more actually 50s, because my mom was born in 42. And she's going to kill me for saying that out loud.
So many years ago, my parents went to California to celebrate their 30th wedding anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
So they were out in Long Beach,
mm-hmm.
and they went to Bubba Gump.
Oh, nice.
Their waiter was Chris Pratt.
No.
Wow.
Yeah, before he became big.
Parks and Rep.
Yeah.
Or Parks and Rec. Excuse me. Got the wrong.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I just found that out yesterday.
That's amazing.
We were just sitting there talking, and Mom's like, "Yeah, Chris Pratt was our waiter." I'm like, "Look-alike?" She goes, "No, Chris Pratt."
He must have made quite the impression for them to remember him.
That's what I was just gonna say. I couldn't tell you who. If I sat at a restaurant this morning, I wouldn't be able to tell you the waiter's name.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow.
So.
Yeah, he must have made quite the impression.
It had to have been. Well, let's see. They are married 41 years now. So it was, 12 years ago?
So they caught him just as he was about to hit it. Because how long's Parks and Rec been out? And they don't make it anymore, do they?
It's done.
Yeah.
And they said, "Oh, waiter," and he said, "Call me Star-Lord."
Yeah. Oh my stars and garters. But yeah, I mean, he
went from 2009 to 2015.
Okay, so 2009 was 11 years ago.
Aired from April 9th, 2009 to February 24th, 2015.
So your parents met him just as he was about to hit it big.
Yeah.
I would wonder if they met him and he was like getting ready to audition or start the first rehearsals for Parks and Rec.
It very well could be, because at the time, they actors, because my mom said he was just getting started.
'Cause my mom said he was getting ready to audition or start the first rehearsals for Parks and Rec. That's
It very well could be, because at the time, they actors, when they, because my mom said he was just getting started. 'Cause my mom said he was just getting started. And he had a job, or he had to have another job in order, because he was just getting started in the business.
Right.
So
Right.
And what a start he made.
Yeah.
So
I
now
heard a
we have to
comment.
aim at getting Chris Pratt for FC3 so we can
There you
ask
go.
him about his days.
We can have a reenactment.
Being a waiter at Bubba Gump.
We can do a reenactment of the time you met your parents.
Yeah, no kidding.
That's
No
hilarious.
kidding.
And that reminds me of an anecdote. I was listening to a podcast, the Scrubs podcast with Zach Braff and his his co-star, his buddy Donald. Oh my God, I can't think of his last name. I feel terrible now.
I love that show. I love Scrubs.
But Zach's like, California is the only place where you can see a movie and then go out for dessert after that movie and be served coffee and dessert by the lead of that movie. Oh, we just saw your movie. It was great. Thank you. Let me tell you about our specials.
Download Faison, whatever. Yeah.
Thank you. Yes.
Prior to that, he was in The OC, Everwood, their TV series.
Okay.
And then just some other things I have not a clue what it is.
Does a popcorn movie have to be accessible to what we call regular people, I guess? Because I was thinking about Tarantino. The other night I rewatched Pulp Fiction for literally, I've maybe seen it 10 times. But it's a movie that Susan hasn't enjoyed, and I know other people who don't enjoy Pulp Fiction because I don't consider it accessible in some ways.
I think you bring up a great point. And the accessibility factor, I don't know if it detracts from the qualification. Like I would call, Pulp Fiction, Reservoir Dogs, Dusk to Dawn, all those other Tarantino movies. I would consider those a genre or a subtype of popcorn movie. But you're right; they're not everybody's cup of tea.
Because it makes me laugh, and then there's things where I can imagine people going, "What are you laughing at?" The guy just had his head shot off.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny.
Well, how about that scene from Reservoir Dogs where Mazin's character, he cuts the ear off and then he starts talking to it?
Yeah.
It's like, wait, that's macabre, right? But it's dark funny. It's dark humor. But again, does that disqualify it from being, like I said, I think I would call it like a subgenre or a subclass of it, but is it a popcorn movie? Sure. Is it for everybody? No. I mean, there are folks who thought the Lethal Weapon movies were awful, but then there's me who freaking loved all of them.
Those are great.
And the Fast and the Furious movies, we just talked about them. They're not everybody's cup of tea. The story gets a little weird, and okay, more car tricks. Okay, fine, whatever. But then there's folks who are like, they live for the antics of this particular crew. So I think we need to acknowledge the fact that just because we might not personally see it as qualifying for that doesn't necessarily make it not that thing. Does that make sense? Was that, I don't know.
It might not be your popcorn movie, but it's somebody's popcorn movie.
Exactly. The popcorn, may not be Orville Redenbacher, but it's going to be, it's there.
It's Family Dollar popcorn.
There you have it. It's not movie theater popcorn, but you can put it in the microwave and you'll be okay. So just get the kettle corn shaker. It's all good.
There you go. Yeah.
Well, that's cool. And I want to hear you, dear listener, tell us what your favorite popcorn movies were. Which ones did we not talk about? Which ones should we talk about more? Or is there a movie that we may not have even thought of that you would like to share with us? So add those comments to the thread. Send us a message on Facebook. Send us a message on Twitter. Follow us on Instagram. Never mind.
That's later.
A little early for that.
And be a part of the conversation. We want to hear from you because a lot of the topics that we cover come from you. So be part of the conversation and enjoy it.
Matrix movies.
What's that?
The Matrix movies.
The Matrix movies. Absolutely. And they're making a new one.
I heard that.
There's actually shots of Keanu Reeves and again, I'm having a terrible thinking other people's names today. Morris. Carrie Morris.
Carrie Moss?
Carrie Moss. Thank you. Who plays Trinity. I am having a rough time with names today. And there's a picture of them on set filming a scene for The Matrix.
Yeah.
So there is a new Matrix underway, and so we will be seeing Neo and Trinity again. That is exciting. I'm looking forward to that. So yeah, let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll talk a little bit about events, and then we'll have a question of the week.
That'll do, pig. That'll do.
Before time began, there was the cube.
Tonight, we dine in hell!
Boy, that escalated quickly.
They may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom!
Do you bleed? Hulk! Smash!
Dead or alive, you're coming with me.
But why male models?
I want to play a game.
Does he look like a bitch?
You can be my wingman anytime.
You talking to me?
You are terminated. It is time for me to resign.
There can be only one.
Chewie. We're home.
I'll have what she's having.
I got a bad feeling about this.
Yippee-ki-yay, mother.
Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk? Come with me if you want to live.
But what I do have are a very particular set of skills. Skills I've acquired over a very long career.
Remember the 5th of November.
Time to die.
I'm sorry, Wilson! Wilson, I'm sorry!
And do you accept this man's resignation?
Start? I don't feel so good.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
And we give it back to you.
The people.
Because it is my name! You shall not pass!
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
I am not an animal! I am a human being!
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. When we were on break, Tanya, you brought up a great point. Our buddy Jason Ferguson made a post how much he misses the movie theater.
Dear movie theaters, I miss you.
Seriously, and that's a thing. We all feel the same way, because I think the best part about the movies is, I mean, yeah, you can enjoy the experience, you can enjoy the the story and the explosions, the effects, the acting, the music, whatever the case may be, whatever is your favorite part of it. But it's the social aspect. It's being in the room with
like-minded people.
With like-minded people. Like, I don't often get a chance to do that these days, but I go on the rarest occasions. I get to go to opening night for a blockbuster, and I was there in the theater for Endgame on opening night. And towards the end, spoilers, towards the end, when everybody comes out of the portals to back up Cap, that whole, with the music is rising and people are coming in out of nowhere, the room was going absolutely bonkers. And you feel that, you get swept up in that. That scene is so much more powerful for me, because I remember the absolute screaming and cheering of everybody around me. When a few scenes before that, when he gets the hammer, Thor's about to get his ass kicked by Thanos, and all of a sudden the hammer goes flinging by and lands in Cap's hand. The crowd went bonkers. Absolutely apeshit. They blew the freaking roof off. The people were screaming so loud. I miss that feeling. That aspect of it is really what I miss the most about the movie theater. So, I mean, not the $20 hot dog, mind you, but or the $50 gallon of medium popcorn. So
popcorn.
But yeah, it's the shared experience, I think, is what makes a popcorn movie that much more interesting to So it's one thing to sit at your house, I have a 50-inch flat screen TV and be like, oh, this is a great movie, I'm going to talk to my friends about it later. But to have experienced it with like 300 people is just that's
and plus in the theater, there's no other distractions really besides other people, using your phone or something. But you're there for one purpose. At home, you can easily get distracted.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just having the focus there, in the theater. You're just there. You're there for a specific purpose. You're really watching that movie. You're watching it harder than you do at home, probably. So
yeah, you're into it more.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a thing. So let's talk events. We don't have much coming up because the schedule's been kind of dry. We've talked about it on Nerd World News, Comic Chicks. We've made a couple of announcements about it. I think we even talked about it last week on the podcast, but just as a reminder, we have effectively left 2020 for the 2020 show. So the 5th FC3 is going to be delayed unto the last weekend of April of 2021. So 24th and 25th, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
Okay. So so we're gonna. I think what I'd like to do is name it FC3 6: The Search for FC3 5.
That's funny.
Right. I think if we roll with that, we can have some fun with that along the way. And along the way, Dan and Ann and Tanya and Brian have all come up with great ideas. I know I've tried to contribute a few clarifying ideas. We are not going to be idle and quiet. Ann and Tanya have come up with their book club through Zoom. So that's going to be one thing we're going to be doing. We're looking into the feasibility of doing panels in the park, which I thought would be a great idea, where we get together like at Highland Park in the Highland Bowl, and we can sit, get people socially distancing, being careful, but getting, a few of us talking about our favorite things. We can do a Star Trek panel, we can do a Doctor Who panel, maybe we can do a comic book panel, and we can get somebody from the local, groups to come. There are things we want to do to continue bringing you something other than just Nerd World News, FC3 Monkey Business, and the now legendary Comic Chicks. You guys have been recognized more out and about than I have, and that's amazing. That's awesome.
And there's a lot of people that know you.
Yes.
They're not necessarily recognizing me. They're recognizing Anne and then asking if I'm with her.
Well, it was funny. Tanya came over to watch Ready Player One Friday night. Because we wanted, which we never really got a chance to talk much about today, which is funny, but we get to have a popcorn movie together. That was fun. But we went to Arby's over on Ridge Road, and the line at the drive-thru was so astronomical. We pulled in, threw on our masks, and went into the restaurant to just order and get out quicker. And it proved to be a great idea, because the car we were in front of in line at the drive-thru was just ordering when we walked out. Okay.
Good plan then.
Yeah. So, but while we were in there, one of the employees of the Arby's, this kid Tommy, recognized me. And I had a mask on, and my hair is so long that I have part of it in a ponytail these days. So it's kind of an incognito for me, right? But he looks at me. He's like, "Wait." He goes, "Hey, you're Chris," and I'm like, "Hi, yeah." I was a little thrown off at first, but then I recognized him through the mask, and we chatted for a little bit, and I'm like, "Well, then if you recognize me, you'll recognize her." And he turned around, he saw Tanya, and he lit up. He's like, "Oh my God, it's you too!" It was so cute to see that. It was like my heroes are in my room. This is amazing.
Turning into local celebrities here.
But that was so fun. It was so, and I think that's the part about the convention that I miss the most, is connecting face to face with the people who just love the same stuff we love, right?
And that's why that's why I really want to have something in person, even if it's spread out in a park where we can people can spread out and have their distance, but we can still do some sort of panel or something. That's
right.
why I really want to push that for September, to really do something there.
Back when she was our events coordinator, Sarah, who was amazing as our events coordinator, just a great human being too. She'd come up with a couple of really good ideas. I won't share all of our trade secrets, but she came up with some good ideas. And I think there's some things that we can work on too. So like Dan has said, like Tanya and Ann have talked about, Brian's talked about, we've all talked about, we want to find ways to keep bringing you that experience, touching base and connecting with you guys, so that we can all.
But not touching.
Social distancing. As long as it's still necessary. So we always have something up our sleeve.
Just speaking of the social distancing thing, and I was watching the Mets and Yankees do exhibition baseball last night because the season starts later this week.
Right.
And just a bunch of teams have cutouts in the seats behind home plate, so it looks like people are there.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that.
Funny.
Yeah, I have seen that.
To have a cutout of you. That's how they do it, and the money goes to charity.
Oh,
that's how they get the cutouts. Is people send them pictures, and I think the Mets are charging $86. I looked this up. The Dodgers are charging $200.
Holy cow!
And down to I think it's the Mariners that are charging $30. And you can send them a picture and they'll make a cutout of you and put it in the seat behind home plate. And during the game, they'll like scan the cutouts and show all the different cutouts in the stadium.
Just to get your picture on the TV there.
Yeah,
which is that's a fun idea.
Charity and make it look like, give the game a backdrop, I guess, behind the catcher and umpire.
Now here's the Inception idea. Now, what if your picture is you holding a sign, holding a picture of you?
That's funny. Susan and I were talking about sending them pictures of our cats, so our cats could be behind home plate.
I would love to see Daniel behind home plate. That would be amazing.
Oh, geez.
Oh my god!
Then I read that this one team was looking at if they could put like cameras in where your pictures, you can see the game from where your picture was going to be. I think I read something about that. I don't know if they actually did that, but they were looking to see if they could do that or something. But is that just for one game though?
No, you can.
Cutouts would be there.
But is that $80 for one game, or is it for a bunch?
Oh no, I think it's for one game. Yeah.
Yeah, that's expensive.
Yeah, it is.
It's expensive to take it for. If you're not gonna, I mean, that's probably how much you pay to go to a game, right? But
yeah, it's actually. Well, depending on the stadium, it can be about that, a little cheaper, a little more. But yeah, it is pricey. But the money goes to charities and stuff.
Yeah. Interesting. But yeah, it's got to be weird for the players, though. I mean,
yeah, they're piping in crowd sounds and music and all that, but it's still pretty weird.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how they play when they get the TV, because.
And it's weird when you see a home run hit and it just lands in the stand, the ball's bouncing around instead of having a dozen people scramble for the ball.
Oh yeah, you don't have to worry about the foul balls hitting someone too, right? Yeah,
yeah, that's really fun actually. All of a sudden, you see the ball knock the head off a cutout.
That almost would be worth it right there. Can I get to the foul line, please?
That's classic.
Oh boy.
Would you then, if that happened, would you then get your decapitated cutout with an autograph from the guy who actually hit the ball saying sorry?
Oh, that'd be funny.
And you get a free beer from the concession stand the next time you come to the stadium.
Well, Chris, for $500.
Yes, dear.
Red Sox can get a plastic cutout of their image placed in the green monster seats at Fenway. If somebody hits a home run that makes contact with the cutout, the fan will receive an autographed baseball as one of their prizes. It says, if anyone who purchases a cutout of themselves to be placed in the seats will automatically receive a personal video message on the right field video board during the games. If the ball hits their cutout, they'll get the autographed 2 monster seats in 2021 and a custom Red Sox jersey with their name.
And that's for how much?
That's $500.
No. Say it right. And that's how much? It's an alternator.
Oh.
That's called a callback. See, Joss Whedon is really good at those. Where you take something from earlier in the episode and you throw it around at the end. That makes it funny.
It's an alternate to an alternator.
There you go. With that said, Dan, it's time for that question
of
the week. Guys,
I thought you were going to go to the music.
There was no trust there. Did you hear that, listener? Seriously. James, Elizabeth, I would sit there and scold her for that. She cut right off. She didn't no idea where I was going, even though she knew where I was going. That's amazing. Anyway.
I'm going home.
You are home, goofball.
Oh, I have to go to Wegmans.
You can do that in 10 minutes.
Okay.
Maybe 15. Depends on how good the question is.
All right. Number between 1 and 381.
Oh, God. It's gotten bigger. That's what she said. All right. Whose turn is it to pick a number?
I think it's mine.
Go. Pick a number.
110.
110. What's something that will always be in fashion no matter how much time passes?
Oh. Well, hopefully, well, I have a funny answer.
Okay.
Hopefully, underwear.
It's become debatable in some circles, I've noticed.
Yeah, no kidding. Oh man.
Always be in fashion no matter how much time.
What'll always be in fashion? I have a legit answer, and then I have two answers. I'm good. So go ahead.
Oh.
How about you, Billy? What do you think's always going to be in fashion?
I think blue jeans.
That was one of my answers. Yep. Blue jeans has that kind of timeless quality.
Sneakers have changed looks, but I think just a plain generic sneaker also.
Mm-hmm. Jeans and sneakers.
Shoe.
Yeah.
And like a classic T-shirt.
Mm-hmm.
With Batman on it?
Sure.
Yeah.
Plain or emblazoned with something. T-shirts have kind of been, the thing over the years. I know my collection is not nearly as extensive as yours is, Billy, but I have two dresser drawers full of T-shirts of various shapes, sizes, and types, colors.
What am I wearing today? I have Rorschach on today.
Nice.
I have the child.
I have nothing. Mine's just a plain T-shirt, plain gray T-shirt right now.
I just have a running shirt.
T-shirts, jeans, sneakers. Those are timeless. Yeah. How about you, Daniel Son? What do you think is never? You hope that. Wait, what's the question again? How's it structured?
What's something that will always be in fashion no matter how much time passes?
Okay.
So that doesn't have to be clothes, but something that's in fashion, I guess.
Yeah.
It's a tough one. I have no fashion sense to begin with. So.
You dress better than you think. Stop.
I don't think so. I know I don't. So I don't think it. I dress comfy. I dress whatever makes me comfy.
Eh.
Do Ann and I have to go clothes shopping for you?
I think that would be a great episode of something where you take Dan dress clothes, not formal, but dress clothes shopping. That would be hilarious.
Something a little bit nicer than I usually wear, kind of thing.
Like the business casual look.
Yeah.
It's our own version of Queer Eye for the straight guy. It's comic eye for the
comic chicks.
Guy.
Yeah.
Comic eye for the president guy.
Oh, and when you listen, we have been challenged. Hold our fireball. I don't know. I mean, look. If you're not looking at clothes fashion, something that will always be in fashion no matter what the time, I would say manners. Mm-hmm. Just manners.
I hope they are.
Yeah, well,
there are circles where they're not, but
right.
I hope they are in general. Yeah.
And holding the door for somebody doesn't matter if you're male or female or whatever. Mm-hmm. That you just hold the door for the next person. Mm-hmm. Or hold it open, that type of stuff. Or if someone sneezes, that you say "Gesundheit" or "bless you" or however, just that type of stuff. And hopefully that people are kind to each other.
See, you nailed it.
Yeah.
Because as soon as he asked the question, the very moment Dan finished asking the question, the first word that popped in my head was kindness.
Yeah.
And I knew it was kind of like that sappy response. And I knew we were going to talk clothes and stuff like that. But kindness, man, I hope it stays in fashion because we've been having a tough time of it this year.
I don't think it's in fashion now.
I agree.
It's preferable, but
it's in less fashion than it has been. Yeah,
right. It's been horrible. It has been horrible in regards to everything.
I was reading a New York Times article early in the week that referred to sort of the social media going through it as doom scrolling.
Yeah.
Because it's all bad news and people arguing and people just don't have a sense of kindness anymore. I mean, some obviously, that's an exaggeration. There's plenty of kind people out there, but there's way less tolerance of other people's opinions or.
Oh yeah, it's just so horrible. Like my son Tyler, he doesn't usually come out of his room. He's lives in his man cave, the man child that he is, and because he just wants to stay away from everything that's negative, and he's looking at stuff on social media and blah 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 blah. So I go yesterday morning to pick up my mom to have her help me organize the kitchen for an impromptu birthday party for Riker, who turns 12 on Tuesday. So we get home, and Tyler comes out of his room. It's amazing because he loves his Nana. So he comes out of his room. Doesn't the man child help us clean up the kitchen in the living room?
Nice.
It's like, and he enjoyed it, and he was running up and down the stairs and helping us and things like that. That was about like 11:15. He didn't go back to his room until about 4 o'clock yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
He was out of his room for like 5 hours. That was like the longest time and he was being helpful to his brother, and like Riker loves Tyler. Tyler tolerates Riker type, but like yesterday they were all sitting on the couch watching golf, having a grand old time, and I'm just like, it was just heartwarming for me to see that particular aspect because of all the negative things that are happening in the world.
Absolutely.
That I was able to get a picture of Tyler and I together for the first time in months, because he won't be out of his room long enough for me to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's like, that's what the joke was, the elusive man child or whatever. The elusive child was out of his room type thing. And it's like, I think people forget what he looks like because he's not out of his room. But
yeah,
and he was just so kind to everybody, and carried on a conversation with Deanna and Anne, who were over yesterday. And yesterday was the first time I've seen Deanna since February.
Right.
So, and it was all, we gave elbows to everybody. But that's the thing. And Anne and I were talking about that we've seen so much negativity that she had posted to her Facebook yesterday. She goes, I don't want to see any negative. She's like, I want to hear something that you've done for somebody else, or what good thing have you done today? What were you productive? What were you this? What were you that?
Mm-hmm.
Type thing. And that's, we want more of that.
So like I said, 15 minutes if we had a decent question.
Sorry, I'd like to talk.
No, you don't apologize. That was not a criticism. That was an observation. But you make it. That's the valid point. It's the valid point. Kindness. We would like kindness to be in fashion. It's not at the moment. We are blown away when people show kindness. We put thousands of likes on pictures and anecdotes in social media of kindness because it has become a special event and not the norm, right? The norm is people going after each other even when they are like-minded. It's going after people because, oh, you disagree with me, therefore you are so wrong. Let me tell you how terrible you are as a human being because you disagree with me. We're so used to that.
Well, that's why. Well, just think about the John Krasinski's "Some Good News" pod.
Which I think is phenomenal. I've been watching it.
During the thing there. But
Love that, man.
I mean, just the fact that took off, like people want that.
Mm-hmm.
It was, and we need more of that.
Exactly.
Well, how many days did I offer you my vehicle this past week?
All of them, every day, and I appreciated it every day. But I just our situation was working, and we made it work, and by the end of tomorrow, hopefully everything will be over with, and it won't be an issue.
But you'll have even more. But you'll have even more arthritis in your knees and your back from crawling in and out of that.
It's just when the time comes and the opportunity arises, I'll start. You know what? This entire situation has made me very aware. I mean, I've always been aware of how bad I am at self-care, right? I've always been very dismissive of taking care of myself.
Mm-hmm.
But these past couple of weeks alone have put a highlight on it, and I've also kind of uncovered some of the motivation that was buried under all of the other stuff. So I could, when I had my vacation a couple of weeks ago, I didn't go anywhere. I stayed home and I did a project a day. And if that project took a half an hour, great. If it took 10 minutes, fine. If it took 3 hours, so be it. But I did a single thing that was on my list of things I wanted to do for my house every day. And at the end of my vacation, There was 13 days of vacation. There was 13 things off the list. I took some pride in that. I found in myself a little bit of motivation that I haven't felt in a while. Right. So I want to, that's my promise to myself, is I want to be better at self-care. I want to start taking care of myself better. So yeah, I mean, I'm going to be 50 in about a month and a half, 2 months. Okay. That happens to everybody somewhere along the line. Hopefully, knock on wood. There's some folks who don't quite make it that far, and I feel bad for them because they're missing out on all the aches and pains, but yeah, I'm going to be 50 in September, and that's not lost on me. So I will not worry about it. I'll take things in stride a little bit better, and we'll move on and be fine. So with that, let's just go ahead and wrap a roux at this stage, and talk amongst yourselves. What else should be in fashion? And you can be practical and materialistic, or you can be philosophical and esoteric. That doesn't bother me at all. We'll be happy to talk to you about it. And talk to your friends, talk to others about it, talk to your neighbors about it, and get those conversations going. So at this point, Daniel-san, prepare the music, because at this point I'm going to say, hit it. And that has been FC3 Monkey Business, a product of the Mighty Monkey Corporation, purveyors and producers of the Flower City Comic-Con. Coming at you like a spider monkey, April 24th and 25th of 2021 at the Total Sports Experience in Gates. Follow us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, follow us on Instagram, follow us wherever we go, and we will lead you to where the entertainment is. You guys have a great week, have a safe week, and we will talk to you again next week.
Dun, dun.
Yeah, I love that.